Hello everyone and welcome back to Neopets the Darkest Faerie. Last time we got kicked out of the library for blowing our minds with the Monty Python reference that will lead us into our ultimate goal with this game. But today we're going to slow down a considerable amount when it comes to the story, as in there will be no story this video. Today we're going to be doing a whole bunch of side stuff and exploring what Brightvale has to offer us, the castle and the village, and the other things we have not seen yet. Like I mentioned before, Brightvale Castle is very small compared to Meridell Castle, with Meridell Castle having 4 floors, and really Brightvale only having this small upper story to it, which does have some treasures in order to pick up. Some are really important too. My guess is this was Saradar's room. So we're gonna, well, in his absence for the entirety of the game, we're just gonna take his stuff. At least it'll kind of be helpful. Now you might remember that Roberta forgot her wand before she left for Brightvale? Well, it just so happens that inside this treasure chest is where she actually kept it. It is quite an upgrade compared to the stick we've been using at this point. For instance, I did a run-through of this game a very long time ago where I did not upgrade Tor's equipment at all, minus the armor which you're kind of forced to get. So that means he had wooden equipment up to this point. And let's just say it certainly makes the game a lot more challenging. It actually makes Roberta a little bit more feasible to use because she is stronger as a result. The other thing is that, remember a long time ago, specifically with Prince Torin, we were given a golden rose to give to a Princess Donna in Brightvale? Well, hey, now we can do it. We can only hope that he's okay, but I'm guessing he's not going to be, judging by the dark clouds everywhere. Hey! So we're able to take the treasure chest that is in her room, like we weren't able to do that already. But she also gives us letters that we need to give to Prince Torin in order to completely seal the deal. Yeah, so we've had the golden rose forever, now we're going to have the love letters for a good amount of time as well. I also spelled Donna with 1 N and 2 N's. Donna and Donna. Yeah, well. The chest, though, is a really good chest because it has a red neg in it. More health, more fun. That pretty much just kind of seals the deal when it comes to Brightvale Castle. Not much else to really do other than kind of look out into the courtyard a couple times in order to see that it's really pitifully small and you can't even get down to it. Stairs. Yeah, and this just goes into the library, overlooking what we are no longer able to go down into. Well, it's a lie. You can always go into it. It's not like they actually toss you out. But other than going back and seeing King Hagan, which I will try to do to the best of my ability, there's not much more to the castle at this point. Nice and respectful size. Meridell Castle is a bit overkill, if you ask me. So with that, we have the village to take care of. So luckily we've talked to everybody, so we can kind of scratch all that stuff out. The only thing we really hadn't done already is pick up the side quests that are actually fiddling around in Brightvale. And as well, go into the center of town and take a look at the circular array of shops that are available. Like the Motory, for starters. Now again, it's a moat store, there really isn't much to it. Except that there is a book in here, this one right here, which is a little bit interesting. I never actually use it myself, but it notes that each strike using a moat releases a flash of power, and you can also determine what elemental alignment your opponent is based on this flash. It's not something I'm able to detect with my own eyes, personally, but I don't know, if you're wanting to follow that advice, you might learn about elemental affinities for some characters who are not color-oriented. Through, all by itself down there. The formatting of these books has kind of been good, but there can be a little bit of slip-ups.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Sir Tolek. Interesting that we have a pretty much a knighted person who is running the moat shop. He's really interested in the clouds. And specifically, what we're going to do is remember what he's saying here, and we're going to be returning and having another chat with him a little later on. He's one of the few NPCs in Brightvale that you kind of want to pay attention to if you're wanting a little extra fluff. Let's just say that. Whoa. A little bit close, aren't you? But yes, Mistress Marion. She is one of our purveyors of side quests for this one, where she is worried about Primrose, who is in Bogshot at the moment. Pretty much all we're doing is just making... We're being the middleman at this point. Just gotta, go to Bogshot and... wonder if Primrose is gonna be okay. Alright, I'll make do. Not much for you to really sell me, is there? Prices are still the same. Man, your shop is boring. Okay. Other than side quests, no other reason to go in there. There is one store that is... I wanted to read the sign. Thank you. It's this store right here, which... Hello? Okay, thank you. To prepare for an apocalypse, right? There's this Winnie sign out here, and for some reason Brightvale has a store, which, big huge twist, it's not a store. In any way, this is apparently just the Pet Emporium, which, has a lot of books you can read. Most of the books we've already seen before, but we have this book to look at, which focuses on Termax. A pet that we haven't seen yet. But according to this, it's a really good pet to have, even though it's based off the Termaculus, who is the really giant pet that's in Neopets. Apparently it's the best pet to have, so we'll have to keep a lookout for him. But the rest of the books are ones we've already seen. We're able to jam in 6 pieces of information about pets. But a good amount of them in this game. Except it's kind of annoying to read this one being on a curve for some reason. But wait a minute, I have to read that again, sorry. Despise. Despise is D-E-S, not D-I-S, I think. Anyway. Neoclops and Noils. Just got a pairings of, pets. Pretty sure we've seen all of them. Maybe not the Doggo Foxes and Galleons one. Tending, caring, feeding. Giving him good stuff. But yeah, the store isn't a store. So I'm wondering why they decided to make it a store. Like, building. Yeah, well. Okay. What else we have? Oh yes, this one is the special one. The map store. Map store is really good because it just has maps. Maps that you can just buy. It's really good. It also has some books that, honestly, we should have already learned or had access to long before this point. And I've looked around, and other than here, I have not seen these books anywhere else. Like Finding the Buried Treasure, which reads more like an advertisement than a book. Yes, that's right, you could be wealthy in no time, and all it takes is a map. And then things about thieves. Alrighty, well, let's just pick up all these maps. Bleed through my money. It also helps to talk to Matkin here, just for some little extra bits of detail about the surrounding areas around Brightvale. For instance, he'll talk about the coast that you're able to go to, and also some other optional areas that we're eventually going to go to in due time. For instance, a dangerous passage through the northern mountains, which leads to the Bogshot Swamps.
Hey!
Supposedly, there's an entrance partway to the coast.
Huh?
But all in due time, we'll go and do our big exploring adventures. No problem there. But of course, let's see. We got that map to the outskirts. We got another one on the road. That's all good and fine. And then Crossroads map that leads all the way down there. And Werelip Woods, with a big skull right in the northwest. So that's always great. So yeah, maps, always good to find. High and low. The potion ray. Really long store. Not a whole lot of books, but again, they're potions, so they're here, they're around. If you're ever wanting a little... Whoops. Okay, I bought a potion of Miracle Speed. Great. Luckily, I'll eventually be using them in order to get around a little bit quicker. Because, man, they are useful. Then again, the power of editing is also much more helpful for all of you. There should be one more place that I'm able to go, and I don't know how I missed it at this point. But there is an armor shop. Not a weapons shop, but an armor shop. And here we're getting some very obvious upgrades that we are needing at this point. But I'm only going to get one at this point, and I'm just going to explain that during the next cutscene, only one of these armor upgrades are actually present in the cutscene, and then afterwards, I'll get the next one. And that upgrade is actually for Tor, it's for the Night Shield over here, so the cheaper option appears first. It's so strange, but again, I want to try to match the cutscenes as well as I can, but that's not always going to be the case as I'm going through this. But now we look like a Meridell knight. Meridell shield, insignia, and everything. Why Brightvale has this shield, I have not a clue, really. Should have a Brightvale shield. But I guess that'll look a little bit too tacky for everything that's going on. Nice to feel fashion forward. So anyway, there's all the shops. Eventually we'll come back for new robes for Roberta, but there's a couple more things that we're able to do. Mainly, go back to where everything was glitchy and terrible last time. Guess I'll pick up that moat too. Those are always good. Like, you can stock up on motes all you want, but eventually once you start forgetting to pick up motes, eventually you wish that you did, so that you were always stockpiled and always good. Ah, good. There's no duplicates. And this lady showed up this time. Cynthia, with an I and sometimes with a Y. She has a side quest for us. She wants a pet. What kind of a pet? Well, she doesn't explain it to us specifically, but the quest log does. Which is strange. Like, straightforward here, she wants an oil. But I kind of like that Cynthia just said, get her a pet, doesn't matter which one. And you would have to do process of elimination in order to get her an oil. I'm going to try and show off a couple of different ways or responses that she does with different pets. But I'll save that for when we're actually exploring outside of Brightvale. For now, let's see what I can do with this wheel. Okay, great, I have a spot open here. This wheel, for as far as I know, I don't even remember if it has a name online. It might just be the Wheel of Fortune, because the other one's the Wheel of Chance. Okay, let's try this again. Good, okay. Half and half. Good. I'm not even sure if this is a really, feasible way... Well, that's good. If this is a real feasible way of actually getting a whole lot of Neo points really quickly. Okay, one final spin. Because I believe there we go. Awesome. So, trying to remember what the grand prize is for getting this one. 325. Yeah, that's all you get for really completing the wheel in one successful go. And in Brightvale, nobody even says how well you do at the wheel compared to Meridell. But honestly, I find that it's like if you're really looking for all of the as much clover as you can, going around and just kind of weed whacking and going through the grass will nab you a whole lot of Neo points faster than grinding out the wheels. Okay, Sid is actually corporeal now, so we can actually talk to him and go into the obstacle course that he has set up. Would you believe that in the few times I played this really early on, my first time playing, I didn't know this place existed? Maybe it's because I really just did not explore Brightvale at all, but it wasn't much later before I realized, oh, there's a whole obstacle course kind of thing going on. And the really nice thing about this obstacle course is that you can kind of ignore a whole bunch of stuff depending on your awareness of your surroundings overall, because you can just kind of jump over ledges and whatnot. Or if you leave it to a lot later, you'll eventually get a tool that makes even faster runs at this obstacle course possible. But personally, for right now, this obstacle course is, well, let's say, really, really easy. He gives us 3 minutes in order to get through this place, and honestly, 3 minutes is just a reason for you to help streamline yourself through the obstacle course in future runs. And yes, I do mean you're going to be doing future runs of this obstacle course, and you'll see why in a moment. So even then, just getting through in just over a minute. Not bad for a first time through. 500 Neo points, no problem, but he does have additional challenges. So instead of 3 minutes, how about 1 minute and 30 seconds? Seeing as we can already still do it, but he will double the prize money. So just 1,000 Neo points in order to just do it again. And because we move that box and kind of understand what we're actually doing in order to move across everything, we should be able to get through in less than a minute now. If I can just get up the vines a little bit faster than I normally do. Sometimes camera is a little bit annoying. And sometimes he won't automatically jump. Come on, door. Nah. Get myself situated. There we go. Excellent. 48 seconds. Almost half the time he wanted. I think I'm up for the challenge. So, the impossible challenge. 4 times the initial prize. 2,000 Neopoints up for grabs. For doing the obstacle course in 45 seconds. Very doable at this point, especially when you're able to just jump across everything and hopefully not have camera angles get in your way. But I feel like the game really should have made it a little bit faster just to make you return to this obstacle course a little bit later when you have an additional tool in order to make it faster. But to be honest, if you are able to streamline everything pretty carefully, then you should be able to get it pretty close at this point. I could have shaved a couple of seconds off if the camera angles weren't so unruly. But for getting 3,500 Neopoints in, well, like 5 minutes, it's a great turn of investment. Unfortunately, there's no reason to really go back into the obstacle course at this point. So make sure you got that 4-leaf clover in one of your runs, because it's very difficult to get back into the course after you've completed it 3 times. So, other than that, there's not much else to Brightvale at this point. So, really, next time we're going to be just heading out of Brightvale and exploring the countryside to see what other things, what other treasures and wonders are around in our new play area. See you next time, everyone!